Hello, this is Group 15 and we'll be presenting about our school, Waseda University, and its branding. Here is the table of contents. Now, let me begin by talking about the history of Waseda University. Here's a brief timeline table with the notable events. Waseda University has their own timeline table on their website, noting when each department was created or when famous people like Albert Einstein or presidents from other nations came to Waseda to give a special speech or lecture, projecting how Waseda put in efforts for global society. It was first founded in 1882 under the name Tokyo Senmon Gakko by none other than Shigenobu Okuma. In the beginning, there were only 4 departments: political science, law, English, and physical science with 80 students. In the opening ceremony of the university, Okuma quoted, "The Japanese language is indeed important to the independence of the state, as is its writing, following on immediately from this is education." Dissatisfied from the Japanese traditional education system, Okuma was determined to change it for Japan's future to be on equal level with Western countries. Okuma was also known as a reformist and a go my way type of guy, and was heavily criticized by the conservatives like Hirobumi Ito. Perhaps it could be said that his personality, beliefs, and values are reflected on Waseda University today. We shall find out from the rest of the presenters later. Today, Waseda University has 13 undergraduate schools and 17 graduate schools with nearly 40,000 students in 2020, placing second in the ranking of universities with most students, followed after Nihon University. Also, it is one of the top universities in Japan alongside Keio University and Tokyo University. Later on in the presentation, we shall see how those universities compare with one another and also learn how Waseda University has sustained its uniqueness to get to where it is today.
Next, I will talk about the branding in Waseda University. There are two main ways to promote their branding. First is about school anthem Miyako no Seihoku. This song was made in 1907 and it is said that the oldest school anthem in Japan. The lyrics of this song was written by the alumni of Waseda, and according to him, he tried to create the symbol to make students hold together. It means that the song itself has strong meaning to show students' school spirit, and to support this comment, the word Waseda was used 22 times in this song. However, unfortunately, the school song has less impact as it used to be. According to the survey conducted on about 4,000 Waseda students, only 9.4% of them answered that they can sing all without lyrics, and 18.5% of them answered that they can't sing even with lyrics. It showed that more than 70% of students in Waseda are not able to sing Miyako no Seihoku, and this result suggests that it is hard to say that this song makes students hold together. On the other hand, there's the symbol which succeeded to appeal Waseda branding to society, and that is Waseda Bear. Waseda Bear was born in 2000 and it was also designed by the alumni of Waseda. The reason why Bear was chosen was because of the name of the founder. The character was created to appeal New Waseda and used widely for good and photos on Instagram. It is also well known through collaboration with Tetsuan Atomu, which was born in Takada no Baba. This eye-catching character makes strong impression to students and people outside of university.
In this section, I will be looking at the campus, mainly in Waseda, and what it projects. Since its establishment, Waseda University has had a rich, evolving history. The school has been inviting prominent figures, international and domestic, to hold speeches in the auditoriums, bringing attention to the campus itself as a significant location and associating it with larger-scale social activities. The school campus, in a way, is engraved in certain historic periods and moments. Thus, the prominence of Waseda University and its campus in central Tokyo is a key attribute that's often promoted. Although not all students of Waseda belong to faculties located in Tokyo, Waseda is where the school has historically rooted itself. This emphasis on the school's role in Japanese history is communicated through the establishment of campus museums and the historic buildings from the Meiji period, coexisting and contrasting with the tall, sleek, modern buildings, illustrating a place where history has been and continues to be carved. The contrasting buildings, with its mixture of old and new, each to varying degrees, is an interesting characteristic of Waseda campus. However, many students mention how they are mainly contained within their faculty buildings, And with each building having a distinctive characteristic separating it from the rest, it symbolically isolated them as well. In our survey, 80% of students answered that the campus lacks chances for students of different faculties to interact. Moreover, 60% felt that it does not encourage interaction between students, and 60% felt there was a lack of spaces for students to freely get together. The fact that the campus is supposed to be accommodating over 20,000 people, but increasingly feels overcrowded and hectic does not help with this. This lack of space, especially open interactive spaces, works against enhancement of university status as a place for exchanging of ideas and information. This is especially important in this age of COVID, with a lot of emphasis on online education.
Then I am going to talk about Waseda's communications relating to COVID-19. For the research, I set those two goals. As for the methods, I compared communications from the president of Waseda, implemented functions and systems, and students' opinions. There are results of the research. First, communication from the president is that investigating in online technology will lead to high quality education. Then 65% of the students agreed with the communication. Second, communication is that vaccination programs help return to normal education, and most of the students agreed with the president's communication. Third, during the state of emergency, the president decided to maintain face-to-face class because of 750 million yen's air conditioning systems. According to questionnaire, most of the students agreed with the judgment on their safety. However, though half of the respondents agreed with the investment into air conditioning systems, another half of the respondents disagreed with the investment. As a result, through all communications, half or more of the Waseda students agreed with Waseda's communication and implemented systems. Therefore, I can argue, as far as relating to COVID-19, Waseda's communication is properly working.
I would like to present Waseda University's communication through speeches delivered at matriculation ceremonies. I have compared speeches from 2021 among Waseda, Keio, and Tokyo University. All three address the challenges and changes society as a whole has been facing during the COVID-19 pandemic. While there are similarities, they each communicate unique messages, visions, missions, and their perception of themselves in relation to the outside world. For Tokyo University, their key values can be summarized as diversity, mutual understanding and respect, creativity, and innovation. The president included his personal experience as a Tokyo University student himself and later as a researcher and engineer to convey these values. One of the examples was the founding of the Design Lab, a collaborative project between Royal College of Art and Tokyo University. Keio University presented heritage and legacy, critical thinking skills and self-determination, solidarity and fellowship. It introduced its history, particularly the founder Yukichi Fukuzawa's contribution in research for cholera pandemic in mid-19th century. References to historical achievements displayed how it shapes today's Keio identity. And finally, the core messages Waseda University delivered are adaptability and future oriented thinking, global perspectives, and openness. It introduced takumashi jise and shinayaka na kansei as essential skills. They refer to the ability of students to adapt to a new environment and the ability to notice and understand the different cultures, religions, languages, and values. Nurturing global leaders who contribute to humanity was another mission Waseda University declares. Waseda University was the only school among three to include an English section in the address, welcoming the international body of students.
Next, I'm going to be talking about the impression of Waseda for the people. To investigate it, I created a Google Form survey and I got 42 participants to answer the questions. I divided people into two categories. One is the Waseda students and the other is non-Waseda students. Specifically, I got 20 Waseda students and 22 non-Waseda students. This is to see if there is a gap between their general perception of Waseda University. The result ended up being like this on the slide. Many Waseda students answered that the university has diversity, a large number of students, and freedom. On the other hand, non-Waseda students answered that Waseda University is for intelligent people, and they have the image of drinking parties, nomikai. They also recognize a huge number of students, but no one pointed out diversity. From this, we can say that insiders do not seem to emphasize the intelligence while most of the outsiders do. Also, the fact that Waseda has a lot of students is known, but the outsiders do not see the diversity that insiders see. In addition, while a few insiders said things about alcohol, some outsiders mentioned it. From these factors, I would like to focus on diversity. Through the survey I conducted, we can say that the diversity of Waseda is only seen by the students inside. However, Waseda has been taking numbers of actions to promote diversity, such as setting gender and sexuality center and having the largest number of exchange students in Japan. We can say that the university does have diversity, but they failed to make such image for the outsiders, and Waseda needs some improvements on it.
In conclusion, in the 2021 enrollment ceremony speech, Waseda University projected its mission as nurturing global leaders who contribute to humanity, which is consistent with the overall communication of Waseda University through different historical periods. The campus itself seems to reflect this school ethos, but lacks attention in projecting said ethos through the experience of students within the campus. Furthermore, the school utilizes many social media platforms to promote their latest efforts, but like the school anthems or campus buildings, these information and messages mostly reach the eyes of the people within the school. Overall, we can observe a school narrative being formed in consistency with Okama's initial vision on freedom, diversity, and a global outlook. Yet this seems more visible to those within the school, but less so from the outside. Thus, branding initiatives of the school seem authentic but not very effective due to its overall lack of visibility. Thank you for listening. These are the references.